There we go. The boys are back again. Silas, what's up, man?
Let's go. I love the lower thirds that we've been getting lately from our producer, Massey.
Wow.
Those are
Hey,
really good.
shout out to our producers for those creative lower thirds right there.
And shout out to Unicorn Town, available on an airplane near you or
There we
above
go.
you.
On any airplane near or above you. What's the latest, man? Where are you at this week?
I am finally back in the hometown of Waco, Texas.
There we
So it
go.
feels good to be back. Was traveling a lot for Christmas.
Yeah.
Last week was a lot. After I got done with that the show last week, I got up and I just felt like just air let out of my head because we had so much information.
It was a lot of facts, bro. We went through a lot of ELF football right there. And I mean, this week we do have a lot as well. Not as much, but very important ELF stuff to get through. And we've got an exciting way to kick off the show this week. We have got an exclusive interview live here on the show with a new Munich Raven, Evans Yeboah. Evans, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Thank you guys for having me on here. Everything is cool. How you guys doing?
Evans, man, when I first heard you talk right before the show, because that's the first time we've ever talked, I felt like I should just be sitting on a beach somewhere and just like having a drink and just laid back. You have the most chill voice of anyone I've ever met.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
There we go. You can do some ASMR, bro. That's a new career for you. So, football career. Let's talk a little about your football career. You're born in Ghana, and you didn't play football until 2017. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's correct.
Yeah. So you're like relatively fresh to the game in terms of football careers. But I think the big news that we do want to talk about is obviously you had your successful time in Hamburg with the Sea Devils, and now you've got a new home down in Munich. Can you talk us through the decision-making process and why you decided this was the right time for you to leave Hamburg, and why was Munich the right place for you?
We did had a lot of fun in Hamburg. The first, second year we did had a lot of fun. Although we came out short, the first year at the championship. And the second year we got some key pieces that left, but then we still had some bullets around, to keep the second year going and running. And I won't say we had a successful season, but then we worked our way up to this to the point that this is what we got. But then there was a lot of struggles, here and there. But then we just got to focus and then try to end the season with a good record. And but then it's been the third year in Hamburg, and it's been the similar issues, from year one to year three. And I feel like enough is enough. I can't be the only one that keep complaining the whole time, and then at the end of the day I'm the one that is being the person who likes to complain or who likes to talk about everything, and stuff like that. So moving to Munich, I knew after this last season ending, I knew I wasn't going to return to Hamburg, because of various reasons. And I'm not the only one who is familiar with these reasons. There's a lot of guys, but then I guess everyone has kept mute. And yeah, man. So
Yep. Okay. So it sounds like things kind of took a little dive in Hamburg. I mean, the Sea Devils were one of the prominent teams at the start of the ELF, making it to the championship game the first year, which you got to be a part of. And it sounds like things are just not really headed in the direction that you wanted to continue being a part of. So can you talk to me a little bit about then the Munich Ravens? Obviously, your coach, your defensive coach, Kendrell Ellison, is down there. You're going down there with him. What are your expectations for your time coming up this year in Munich?
that's right, like you said, like Kendro, the new head coach in Munich Ravens. I'm familiar with him. He's not the only one over there. Coach Malik, our D line. Fernandez, which is the backers coach. So it's like I'm familiar with some faces and also some play. And I have a good feeling about the Munich way. The organization. I heard they have a great organization down there, and I haven't been there yet, but I'm yet to experience. So
Evans,
yeah.
can you get into what you think some of the issues were with Hamburg that they couldn't quite make it to the championship and win it all?
It was really a poor leadership. It was a this was leadership from the top to the like to us. Like they are team captains, right? And when you have a team captains in a team, at least like they're supposed to also speak out and also be heard. But it wasn't like that, and coaches wise, head coaching wise, making poor decisions and all that. It kept going and going, and we all knew the problem, but then no one was willing to tackle it. Like no one was willing to tackle it, and we kept complaining and complaining and complaining, and finished the first season. And we had the similar issue in the second year.
So what was that issue?
Issue was our offense putting point on the board and head coaches making the right decision.
Do you feel now going with Munich, going with Coach Ellison, do you feel like you trust his leadership and his ability to run a team and decision-making?
He's been the leader since day one in Hamburg, although they are not giving him that credit they're supposed to give him. They are setting that everybody, like he makes the decision. But then, of course, when they go to the board, they never mention his name. They all, like, everybody knows about this, and I trust him. Coach Kendro is a good leader, and I have a good feeling that we're going to have a success in Munich, regardless of what they are talking or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. And I think, yeah, you guys are getting kind of like a fresh start down there, and I'm pretty excited to see it. Obviously, your defensive, you've had success on the defensive side of the ball, which is where you're at, and you've obviously been one of the most prominent players in the league on the defensive side of the ball. Can you talk a little bit about your game? What do you think what are your strengths? What are you best at in the game of football?
I mean, when I'm on the field, all what I'm looking at is who's having the ball. Just looking at the QB and just my mind, I'm like, the ball's being snapped to the QB. So I don't really care who's in front of me right now. I'm just trying to break through that wall and just go get who's having the ball. So it's like I'm always just going, regardless.
If that isn't the most defensive answer to a question I've ever heard, like literally, it's just like the ball got snapped to the quarterback, and I don't care who is in front of me. I'm just going to go get the ball.
Hey, Silas, that's what I like to hear. Evans, I'm a defensive guy, man. I like your answer. You're scaring Silas, though.
It's true. It's true. Guys like you freak me out, man, because there's no reasoning. It's all just
dangerous, bro.
Just danger.
Yeah, Evans, man, we appreciate you coming on the show with us today and giving us a little insight on the situation in Hamburg. And obviously, I'm sure you're really excited to get down there to Munich, and good luck for everything for the Munich Ravens this season, man. Looking forward to watching you on the field. Thanks for joining us.
Man, thank you guys for having me as well, man. I really appreciate it. Right.
Yeah, man. You're an inspiration.
Later, bro.
Man.
Yeah, man. I love stories like that, man. Love stories. Literally born and gone. And didn't start playing till 6 years ago.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Is already so good. And like even in the answer, like it's impossible to have a lot of football knowledge with like experiential knowledge if you've only been doing it for 6 years, right?
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I kind of love. Is like you see these guys that are so talented and so passionate, but they haven't. They don't even have that longevity of experience, and yet they're still so hungry and just honestly really good, which is so super cool to see.
That's one of the coolest things about football in Europe here, man. Like having only played since 2017 and then being able to become one of the best defensive players in Europe. Obviously, I think he's a 2-time All-Star in the ELF, and he'll be huge down there in Munich, man. And you're getting some spicy stuff, as the chat is saying right now. That was kind of a spicy interview talking about the situation at Hamburg.
I'm not gonna ever hold back on tell me actually the crap that went down that everybody kind of knows about already, but they don't know exactly what it is. And Evans, I appreciate him just being honest. Like, look, that we had bad leadership. We took things to them. They didn't really listen, and they didn't really empower. It seems like they didn't really empower captains and who are actually doing something on the field. And they didn't empower them to be successful. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, he let it air out there, which I appreciate, and it's interesting to get that insight. It's just like you said, when there's stuff that people kind of know a little bit, but to get the confirmation and kind of the firsthand experience, that's pretty fascinating. All right, well, pretty good start off to the show, man. Now we got to head into the signing center. We got a lot of big signings again. Naturally, we've got a lot of big signings. And let's start it off with the homegrown player of the year last year. David Brzezowski is returning to the Panthers. Guy had a crazy year last year. And Silas, the interesting point, and we talked about it, is the Panthers did already sign kind of a premier running back, Giannotti Adams, who was with Frankfurt, and he proved that he actually has counts as a European through his start of football in Russia. So he no longer counts as an A. So now the Panthers have signed kind of 2 premier running backs. How do you feel about that? Because both these guys are kind of RB1 in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a couple thoughts. Number one, I was surprised by this move. I don't know his background now. That's the thing about European football. If this guy has school or if he's pretty committed to the area in Poland, it would make a lot of sense to stay. You know, that's a lot of the European players. They have these other jobs, and so that makes sense. Number two, now going into this whole 2 starting running back things. Now, it's great to have 2 really skilled players. But it's tough to keep them both motivated if they're not happy with what they're doing. And so, like I said before, I haven't really seen them play as much. And so, if one of them is really a good route runner and can catch well, where they can put both of them on the field, I don't think 2. I think the days of 2 running backs split back is way over. I don't see that happening. So I expect one of them to be kind of more of a utility back, like I was with the guards. And then, I mean, just straight up, there needs to be a lot of humility between the 2 of them to share in those reps and to kind of, especially for David. David's got to be the bigger guy here because he was the guy. He has proven himself. He's done all this stuff. He's going to have to come in and welcome another RB1 essentially. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, he's a young guy. He's 22 years old, and he never played 11-on-11 football before joining the ELF. So he's been playing 11-on-11 football for a very short amount of time. Yeah. And so we'll see. When you're young like that, maybe it's easier to have a little humility, and we'll see how they go with 2 running backs there. I'm curious, but he's not the only European running back to sign back with his team for next year. Also, for the Stuttgart Surge, Nicolas Kandar, the Frenchman. Dude, this dude, I remember when the Surge got this guy in the middle of the season. They had seen him. He had played in the CEFL tournament for his French team. They played against the Unicorns, and he had like a crazy game. And the Surge coaches saw this dude and plucked him, signed him mid-season, and he was just phenomenal. Like, he's one of those running backs, like, when he runs, he doesn't like look that athletic or that swift or shifty or anything, but somehow he's just picking up yards, dude.
He's got the Pacheco run, maybe.
Oh yeah, did you see that? Did you see
that was so funny, bro. I watched that video like 20 times because I was like, I think what's so funny about the Pacheco video is that the guy is in the NFL. That's something you see on the playground all the time as a kid. I've never seen that in the NFL. So anyway, I don't want to get distracted.
I know, but he runs like a little kid, dude. Every single time, it's like it's a little kid running. And I don't want to say Kendall runs like a little kid, but there's elements of that with kind of just it's not so pretty, but gets the job done. So I know the Surge are really pumped about getting him back. And then we're moving on to Caleb Mills joining the Hamburg Sea Devils. So the Sea Devils, obviously, there's been an exodus from Hamburg, and we just interviewed Evans, one of the people to leave. Finally, we've got good news for Hamburg. Caleb Mills, this dude is, from our stats right here, 1.95 meters. He's a safety. That's like 6'6", I think. That's massive.
It's a big safety, yeah.
It's a really big safety. I also like kind of looking through his resume here. He played at the junior college level at Dodge City Community College, and then he went to I believe New Mexico State, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always interested in those kind of guys that are like really trying to make it happen. Even like kind of your story, Silas, where you started at Cornell and you're like, I want something different. I go to Baylor. Okay, I want to keep playing. I go to Europe. So I kind of like these stories of guys that just continue finessing their way and finding where they are going to have their football success. So I'm always a fan of guys that kind of move up to different levels. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of shows that things weren't just handed to them out of high school. A lot of big recruits just have all these colleges at their doorstep, just doing everything. If you go to community college or JC, or you moved, you've had to put in that work. So
exactly.
Yeah, we'll see how he does.
Yep. So that's some good news in Hamburg. A new guy coming. However, we also have some more bad news for Hamburg. Another player is leaving. Jean-Claude Madin Cerezo, the wide receiver. He's got German and Spanish passports. He is going to be leaving, and he's joining the Madrid Bravo. Seems like Madrid is signing a lot of dudes, man.
Yeah, I think, like I said before, I think Madrid is going to be the dominant team in Spain now. I think they're gonna put a handle on Barcelona. My question is he a E tag, or does he count as a Spanish player?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question, because if he's a homegrown for Madrid, that's great. That's like kind of how he would be valuable, like Louis Geyer is for the Surge. When you have a homegrown of that talent and he doesn't take up an E or an A spot. So I'm actually not sure. Chat, if you guys know that, if you have an idea on that, feel free to educate us.
Yeah, please.
So yeah, there's so go ahead, Silas. Sorry.
No, I just was saying, yes, please do that, because I actually have never thought about that.
Yeah, that's a great point, because that's a huge factor. That's another interesting thing about the ELF is like, it's not only about your talent and how good you are in the field, but what category of player, what roster spot you take up. Right. It's like the better you are and the less precious your roster spots. Like if you're a really good homegrown player, that's super valuable.
Okay. Yeah. We're getting in the chat here. He is an E because he started playing in Hamburg. Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. Good stuff.
It's where you start. It's where you start playing.
Right.
Which is because we had a guy, we had a German guy, you know him, Adrian.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. Adrian counted as a homegrown player in Switzerland, even though he was German, because his first games were in Switzerland.
Exactly. And that's why Adams for the Panthers now, he was able to prove that his first football was in Russia, not in the States. And that's why he's now an E. So good stuff, chat. Thanks for hooking us up there. Moving on to defensive tackle Jason Chikari. He was a first team all-star. He is going to be returning to the Rhein Fire. Just Rhein Fire, man. I feel like they're probably going to be pretty damn good next year as well. What do you think, Size?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like I said before. Why would you leave? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
True.
for a lot of these guys, the only people I really see leaving the Rhein Fire are the ones who maybe weren't the guy there and they want to go somewhere else and be the guy.
True.
Or they just want to go home. So like Mahungo or whatever. He wanted to go back to France, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, speaking of France, man, Paris is going to be. But I'm curious, like, obviously they signed Jadrin last week, or that was announced, who their other A spot on offense is going to be. Because, like, it was Nathaniel Robitaille, right? And then Roby got hurt. Then they had this dude, Willie Patterson, who played well, but then he got kind of hurt right before the championship game. So then Roby got to play in it. And it was like kind of a flip-flop back and forth. I'm really curious to see where they spend that second A spot on the Rhein Fire.
Right. I think Have you haven't heard from Roby yet?
I've talked with him a little bit, but nothing that I could no breaking news, I would say. No breaking news just yet.
My guess is that he's gonna sign again. I don't think he's done. Even though he's
old.
old.
Yeah, even though he's old like us, somehow he has not lost a step. Like and I know we're getting off topic here a little bit, but good for you, Big Ropes. Good for you.
Yeah.
We'll move in now to the last signing of this week's signing center. A big one for my hometown team, the Stuttgart Surge, Chris Azalea. He is back after he was had some experience in North America. He's part of the IPP International Pathway Program, and he got to be on the roster with the Baltimore Ravens. He also has CFL experience. He did play in the ELF, I think 2021 for the Cologne Centurions. And now he's back in the ELF for the Stuttgart Surge. I know they're pumped about this. He's actually like, he played fullback or so, I think, when he was with his NFL time, but he's going to play linebacker for the Surge in that defense. And I'm pretty excited about him. I know the coaches for the Surge are really excited about him. And that's another one, Silas, just like you talked about last week. These guys that go over, get NFL experience and come back, it's huge.
Yeah. It's night and day difference. And so, yeah, classic Jordan and the Stuttgart Surge staff, just being able to recruit everybody. He's been doing that for a long time. And I tell you what, this is kind of, and the Surge are a cheat code. They really are a cheat code because they were so involved with the GFL and still are so connected with the Unicorns that they can they're like they have a whole entire like scouting department for their team, because everything about every team that plays the Unicorns, like they're like intimately involved. And so they know, oh, we played against this guy who's in the GFL, who's a baller. And it's like, okay, like the running back, Kander. It's like, oh, he was baller played against the Unicorns. Let's just pick him up and bring him to the Surge. So
exactly.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal at all. It's just, it's like a cheat code. And which also points to the fact that it's like, okay, these are the type of things that separate Stuttgart from other teams, and that they can step into a league and go from 0-12 to championship finalists. That's
right.
Awesome.
And like those coaches who coached in Southern Germany for so long, they have such experience, and they've coached against many players from different teams. And so they saw like young guys that they played against years ago, like, hey, this is a player that maybe we can go after now. So that's a big signing for the Surge. And I know the league's excited about that too. These kind of high profile guys. That's great.
Jordan Newman is basically the Nick Saban of Europe.
There we go.
Here's what we're going to start seeing. I'm predicting it right now.
Okay.
Cody Pastorino will leave and take a head coaching job somewhere else.
Oh, Jones, you hear that? You hear that, Cody?
And I'm starting to, like, other coaches. The coaches on the Surge coaching staff will start leaving and taking head coaching jobs.
I know that this is an interesting point because Cody Pastorino is also probably one of the most talented coaches in Europe. but yeah, he's in the assistant position and hasn't had like a head coaching opportunity, or hasn't taken a head coaching opportunity, I should say, because kind of that trio of Jordan, Johnny Brenner, and Cody Pastrino, they've had such success together. But I think it's a great point to kind of highlight Cody, because obviously, the head coach and the defensive coordinator get a lot of credit for that, but Cody Pastorino is an absolute gem there as well. So that's not a crazy prediction, man.
Yeah, and Johnny, I think Johnny leaves too at some point.
Crazy. All right, you want to take us in?
Yeah,
Silas?
that's good. So good, another week of signings, of course. Let's move into game week. First game week, ELF announced that the first game of the 2024 season is going to be a week earlier. It's going to start May 25th, and we can take a look at some of those. It's only 145 days away. Just like that, we're right back at it.
Yeah.
We can take a look at some of the opening weeks from the past few seasons. 2021, we can see. We only had, how many teams was there? There was only like 8 to 10 teams, right?
Yeah,
2021.
It was. Let's see, 12, 8, 10? Yeah,
it was pretty small. This is kind of here's a hot take, right? I'm just gonna start just making people mad again.
That's what you're known for, hot takes.
That's what I'm known for. As much as I love the Frankfurt Galaxy, because I had a great experience in Frankfurt with the Universe, their championship is like the least impressive of all the championships, because there was like there was the least amount of teams, and not most of the best talent hadn't joined yet. They were still like filling it out. So Frankfurt, if you really want to be back on top, you got to win this year. You got to win when it's at the level that it is now.
I am with you right there, Silas. That is a hot take, but I think there's a lot of truth in it. It's like each year it gets more impressive to win the championship because there's more teams and there's more talent in the league. Obviously, this year was the most talented the league has been yet, and next year will be even more talented. So I'm with you right there on that hot take. Sorry, Frankfurt. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but it's true.
There was only 8 teams. There was no Austrian teams. So Raiders and Vikings, 2 of the best teams in Europe, weren't there. France wasn't in there. I mean, that was basically like a GFL championship.
Sorry, Frankfurt.
Because you have the only teams outside of Germany were the Panthers and the Dragons, Spain and Poland, which they've never really impressed anybody, those two countries. So it's like, congratulations, you won a championship. That's great. That's awesome. Not taking that away from you, but it was basically a glorified GFL at that point. So
I don't think you're making some enemies with your hot takes, Silas, and I love it. And I don't disagree with you.
So 2022, we got a little bit better. That's where a little bit bigger, excuse me.
Right.
We got the Istanbul Rams joined. That was such a strange join to me always, but just it just keeps expanding, and that's the exciting part. That is really exciting. And the opening game, like, what was the opening game last year with the Rhein Fire and Frankfurt Galaxy? Was 20,000 people or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It was hot. It was a hot game.
It was high. So you can clearly see that. That's the cool part about these little graphics. So 2021, you saw there was only 8 teams. 2022, now you got 12 teams in there. You got the Austrian teams in there. Rhein Fire, is that when the Rhein Fire jumped in? I don't think they were there in 2021. Let's see. No, they weren't. Rhein Fire joined in 2022. And then 2023, we have a couple more teams. And pretty soon that whole thing's going to be filled up. Well, I see 2020. I'm predicting when do you think there'll be 24 teams, Nick?
Ooh,
what
man.
year?
Give us 3 years. Give us 3 years. How about that?
3 years. Okay.
We're going to go with that. And let's see. Also, what do you want to see for the first game of this year? For me, I would love for them to schedule Rhein Fire, Stuttgart Surge championship game rematch.
I think, I think. Well, who did I think there should be like a Vikings, Fire, and then Stuttgart and Frankfurt. Is it?
Yeah,
were those the two semifinal teams?
I like that, dude. Actually, chat, join us here and write us what would be your dream opening matchup.
Yeah.
I like that, what you're saying, because that's like a little bit of a change up.
And you get to make that argument. All right, well, like, the Vikings could have just had a one bad game against the Surge. Like, could the Vikings have beat the Fire? Because they never played each other.
True. And like, here in the chat, we've got Frank. Well, I don't love Frankfurt Galaxy at Ryan Fire. I mean, that's, we know how that goes.
Yeah,
Ryan
we've
Fire
seen that like 6 times.
Hey, Frankfurt's had enough chances, bro. They've had enough. So if you have a chance actually here to win a free ELF Game Pass for those of you who are putting your dream matchups in, and we're gonna choose one. Ooh. Well, obviously, people are writing, okay, Madrid, Barcelona. That'll be interesting, although I think Madrid is going to end up being way better. Paris at Ryan Fire or Paris versus Vikings. I like those. Is that Glenn is that Glenn Tunga in the chat?
Glenn Tunga.
Glenn wants to play. He wants to play Paris.
Wait.
Silas, we got to pick. We got to pick our favorite out of that because someone's going to win a Game Pass.
Someone's going to win a Game Pass here. Okay. Let's see, Paris and Ryer.
Spelling error.
Well, let's see. Your ideal opening game. Are we like talking full fan experience, like including like it's gonna draw on the most fans? It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah. How to kick off ELF 2024 season in the best way?
That's such a tough thing because it's like you almost can't exclude the Ryan Fire just because of the type of fan presence they have,
Right.
I'm thinking I'm going back to what I said. I'm thinking 1 versus 3 matchup and 2 versus 4 matchup, like the opposite of the semis. So I'm going to say Stuttgart and Frankfurt in Frankfurt.
Okay. And the other thing that you get on that too is that's like a big population center.
Oh wait, nobody wrote that. Hold on, that was just mine.
That's okay. Hey, bro, you're entitled to yours as well. But we got to pick. And someone said Ravens in Paris. Oh, that's Glenn again. Glenn's out here killing the chat. Good job, Glenn. I like that Ravens at Paris because those are two teams who are in their second year. They were the two best first-year teams last year, both big fan bases. I would love to see that. They meet in the middle, play it at Ryan Fire Stadium, so you get a bunch of Ryan Fire fans as well, just football fans. Both fan bases can travel. Give me that. I like that right there.
Who said it?
I think it was Glenn. Is it bad if Glenn Tunga wins the is this like a NCAA violation of benefits if Glenn Tunga wins the Game Pass?
I mean, he should get one from that hurdle that he's going to be put on everything. Little NIL deal going on.
That's true, man. That is true. Let's do that. I think that's the winner, guys.
You're saying Ravens and Musketeers at Ryan Fire Stadium. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What do you think? What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think it does need to be an international game. I like that. I'm gonna go with that. I do like Ravens and Musketeers. There
it is. And so that's our winner. We'll take it. 2 second-year teams. That's our dream scenario. ELF, make it happen, please. Make it happen. And this is some illegal benefits then for Glenn Tunga. Congrats. Silas, you give him some advice on
when
you
get invested. Not the first time Glenn did anything illegal.
They're getting investigated by the NCAA. There we go. So now we've actually got another interview coming in. One of the guys we talked about earlier in the show, our man, Chris Azalea.
Ooh.
What's up, bro?
What's up? I'm happy to be here.
Dude, we're happy to have you, man. And I know Stuttgart is happy to have you as well. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Hamburg right now.
Okay. For me, man, the first question. Yeah, go ahead.
Why? Because I live here and I travel a lot. That's why I'm trained in Hamburg, and then I just travel to Munich, Stuttgart.
Man, Hamburg is just dropping the ball.
True.
How do you not recruit a guy who lives in your city? How did Stuttgart get you?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Did Hamburg come after you?
Yeah, they did. And we all know that we have to check out and see what is the best possibilities and where you can grow and a lot of other things. And Jordan Newman was on me. If I tell you, and I love him as a coach, and I know him, and I played against back then Schwäbisch Hall. And we had a great conversation. Even the team, the dynamics, the defense. Hey, I was like, you know what? Let me give him a shot. And by the way, I like the colors as well. It's different, flashy, And yeah, that's my answer to the question.
Hey, Chris, I'm with you right there. And I actually like what you just said. I played linebacker in that defense for those coaches, and it is a phenomenal experience, man. They're going to set you up for success. Obviously, all of your natural talent. You'll be playing with really sharp defensive coaches, man. So I think you're going to have a crazy year. But I do wonder, why is it that you are playing linebacker and not running back? Did you have desire to play running back? Was that your decision? Was that the Surge's?
That's pretty funny. So before I went to the international pathway program, right, in the NFL, there was a coach, Aiden Dirt. He is a coach with the Dallas Cowboys now, and he was like, Chris, I love you as a linebacker, but there are too many people that play and like you that have your speed, and you wouldn't be special. That's why they told me play fullback and the running back position, so you can, show your speed and show your physicality. But my heart, I am a defender by heart, if I tell you. But I'll play offense a little bit.
Hey, Chris, I love to hear that. I know Silas is heartbroken right now hearing that, but over here, I'm happy to hear that you're a defensive player at heart, man.
Well, exciting, man. Hey, tell me quickly about your experience playing in the NFL and the pathway program.
So it was pretty crazy because back then the NFL wasn't that big in Germany, and it grew internationally. And it was crazy to get to an organization that is so physical and has such a great name to it. I mean, the AFC North is a crazy division, by the way. And we played against teams, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns, and just seeing all these guys in real life was so unreal. I mean, practicing every day. I was at the practice squad, and just getting to know how the guys preparated to practice with them, to see how different the physicality is from Europe to America. I mean, I'm a big dude, but there were people that were way bigger than me, and that was a big shock.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's an amazing experience that you got to have, and like kind of polishing up your game as well, and to be able to bring that skill set and that experience back to Europe, back to the ELF and to the Surge. We got a little shit talk in the chat, actually. From,
by the way, I gotta say one more thing.
Yeah.
I can punt crazy. I can punt and be a punt. And
there we go. Chris for punter. Come on, Jordan.
He's an import punter. You spend that E spot really wisely. Sven is saying, what does Sven say? Chris didn't sign with the Rhine Fire because he's scared to go one-on-one in practice against me. What do you have to say about that?
Okay. Hey, Glenn, I appreciate you. You know what? At the end of the day, I think it's better to see each other on the field because, that's where we can be more physical.
There you go.
We need to get a show with my man Chris, Glenn, and who we just have? Evans. We need those three. We need those three on a show just talking football. I would watch that.
That's a good dynamic right there. That's a great dynamic. So, Chris, what are your expectations for the Surge? Obviously, they were one of the top teams last year, made it to the championship game. What are you thinking about this year with the Surge, and what are your expectations?
So for me personally, there's not much to say because we saw how the Surge ended this season. And I know all of the guys, they have like this fire still burning and that hurt. And, when you lose their championship. And I think me going to that franchise, what I want to do is I want to like get that fire, put a little bit more gasoline into the fire, get them hyped a little bit more and play football on the best level that we can. Because I think the focus should be more us getting together as a team and building a great team chemistry and see what happens from there. Because I don't like to say, yeah, we got to win the championship, whatever. Now we're going to play the best football we ever played. And we see what happens after that.
Man.
Wow.
I love that, man. And I just tell right now, man, you are we've never met in person, but just from this interview, I can tell that you are the exact type of player that those guys at the Surge look for, and you're going to fit in perfectly with that team and hopefully push them over the edge, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting year.
Yeah. What you just said is the key to success. That's the absolute key to success. Nick Saban talks about that, actually. He tells his guys, we don't even look at the other team. We don't look at the scoreboard. We compete against ourselves from yesterday. Were we the best that we were today? That's how he even grades the games. He doesn't even grade them based off them winning or losing. He grades them if they win, it's did we play to our best? And if we lose, it's the same question. Did we play to our best? And so Chris, you're gonna make a great coach one day if you want to be one. But until then, we're excited to see you as a player.
Absolutely, man.
Hey, I appreciate the kind words. I'm just, for me, it was itching in my fingers to get back on the field. A lot of times I was in London, watch my guys, the Ravens, they played, and I was like, somehow I'm not done yet. Like Marcus, when he said, he said, we ain't done yet. And I was like, and I felt the same way because I think it's not only the talent. I mean, it's just more than that. It's just my experience that I can give. And they love the game so much. And I'm a physical guy. So, and that regular life and this regular world, I wouldn't even know what to do with all my physicality and what is inside of me,
So you heard.
That's a good thing you got football, man.
You heard it. You heard it here first. The ELF is keeping people out of jail.
There you go. Chris, man.
I'm so sorry, but we all know football players, they're a little bit different up here.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And that's why you're playing linebacker, bro. That's why you're playing on the defensive side this year. Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the show, man. Awesome interview. I know that everyone's just thrilled, both on the Stuttgart Surge and then just league-wide, to have you back and being a part of this league. And helping grow football in Europe. Thanks for joining us on the show, man.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Yo, all right. New idea.
Okay.
ELF Man of the Year, and I'm picking Chris as 2024's ELF Man of the Year, like the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Yep, I love it. Man, he's got great energy, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I love his eyes. His eyes got so big. I was like,
I mean, you can just tell he's thrilled to be playing and to be headed down there. Man, that's a good signing for the Surge. That's
big time. That's huge. It's huge.
He'll have a lot of success. So we now have a kind of a new segment, guys. It's thought up from our producers. It's called Truth or BS. Okay. Now, our producers are going to pop up some information here, and we are going to have to call out if it is true or if it is BS. You guys participate in the chat. Silas and I are doing this for the first time along with you guys. So we're going to see down there. We'll see the percentage of you that vote for truth or BS. Silas and I will each have our own takes as well. And we're going to see how well we know ELF football here a little bit. So let's bring up the first piece of information. Madre London rushed for 200 plus yards 3 games in a row. Is that truth or is that BS?
I'm calling truth. Just because that's such a crazy stat. And I don't know, man. It's just like I think that right now, like that's unheard of in a league like the NFL.
Right.
But in the ELF, that's something that is possible, and so I'm gonna go with truth on that one. And I just like his name is the Spanish word for mother.
Mother London. I'm with you.
London.
I'm going to go truth. I remember this was a few years ago, and I remember seeing, man, this dude in this new league is rushing for ridiculous yards. And so I'm going to go truth. Looks like most of the chat is saying truth as well. We got 87% of you guys, 88 are with us. We think that's truth. Maxie, our producer, can we see what is the correct answer?
Truth.
It is true. Damn, that's a crazy
that's
stat.
wild. Yeah.
Whoa.
350 and 352 weeks in a row is actually insane. That's insane.
Silas, I'm a little surprised that he's done, I don't know what did he do or where did he go play after that crazy ELF season? I think he got a chance in like the USFL or the XFL actually, if I'm remembering correctly, but he just tore it up.
Yeah, that's wild.
All right, good job, chat. You guys are with us there. Everybody got that right.
Let's move on.
Silas, you got this for us. What do we
got? The record for most reception in a game is 17. I'm gonna say BS. I'm gonna say it's like 19. I don't know.
I think it's more. Okay. 17,
I think it's
19.
more. I'm gonna say like something like 19 or something.
Okay, chat, give us your vote. I am actually gonna say BS. I think it's lower. I think it's probably 15 or 16. 17, that's crazy, dude. So I'm saying it's lower, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a name or anything, but I'm going to say it's a little bit lower. Chat, what are we saying? Chat saying BS. We're going to little info about.
Maybe we should let people start voting first because I feel like everyone's just following us. A bunch of followers.
Okay, that's a good idea. On the next question, you guys vote first. We're going to hold off on our opinions a little bit, and then we'll start. All right. It looks like the majority of you guys are with us here. 81% are saying BS. And can we see if we are correct? We are correct.
You can use that link in there to vote. You don't have to actually type in the.
Yeah, that's true, guys. Click the link.
Oh, wait, was I right there?
You were right. It's BS. What's the answer?
Yeah, what's the correct? 15. Oh shoot, let's go.
It's you, bro.
Hey, I did not know that.
Do you know which game that was?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it's the first one, Barcelona. Does anybody know the answer? Dang it. If I would have caught that last touchdown pass, I would have the record by myself. Come on.
We're just totally ignoring the 3 other names there. We're just talking about yours. But hey,
Nasita is the one.
That's all I got. Quick shout out to the other 3 guys for tying it, but
my boy Marvin, he's on there.
Somebody said, yeah, just think about the 8 touchdowns that Clark had. 17 is not hard to imagine. I mean, that is true, but it's still a lot of catches. Okay, 15 is the record.
Casa Nist or whatever knows the stats there.
Yeah, good job.
They said Silas should know. That's pretty good. Most pats attempted by a kicker in a game is 11. What is that? 11 times 7 is 77 points.
Let's see, guys. Vote in the link there.
What's the most points scored?
I'm holding off on my opinion.
I'm gonna hold off on mine too. Make sure to click that link to vote. Don't type it out.
Yeah, if you type it out, it doesn't get counted.
Right.
I'm very statistically accurate here. Look at this is kind of a 50-50, bro.
So here's what we'll do. Whenever we vote, Maxie put the deal up. So as soon as we're both done voting, then we'll say whether or not it's true.
Okay. It's 50-50. All right. I'm going to say my piece.
Go ahead.
I think that this is true, and I think it is because the Surge game against Milan this year, they scored 77 or 78 points. I was at that game. It was just a crazy offensive showing. and that adds up to 11 PATs of my math.
So they had
is
no
serving me right.
field goals. They had no field goals.
I cannot really remember. I'm just thinking.
All right,
of
I'm gonna
that
say
night.
I'm gonna say BS then. I'm gonna say it was 10.
Okay. Yeah. That's good. Good
What's
point.
the truth? What's the
What's the
answer,
truth?
Maxie? Dang it!
Oh, there we go. Maxie,
Yeah.
is it the game?
Yeah,
Is
it
the
has
game
to be.
that
That's the most
it
points
must be.
scored. It has to be.
True. That's the record, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Lenny. Good job, Lenny. Way to go. Yep. Versus Milano Seaman.
Dang,
You're going crazy.
I'm 2-1 now. Hit us with
That's
the
pretty
next
good.
one.
Okay. What do we got, Silas?
I'm gonna say BS. I'm gonna say it's like 6.
6. Most sacks in
or
a game.
5. I might say 5. Kyle
I
Kitchens.
wonder. Truth
I was
or
supposed
BS?
to. I was supposed to wait, but it's fine.
I know. It's okay. I think this has got to be like someone like Kyle Kitchens, probably. Like he has insane stats. I do feel like I've seen 4 sacks before on a stat graphic. Man, I don't know. I might say 5. Is that crazy?
I already said 5.
Did you say 5?
Yeah, I said 5 by Kyle Kitchens.
You know what? I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say true. It is 4 by Kyle Kitchens. What does our chat say? Most people are saying BS, 66 to 33%.
Oh, that's a good question. It's is the record for most sacks in a game is 4 by a player or team? The question is by player. One player.
Oh yeah, that's good. Good question, chat. That's a good question.
What do we got? What's the answer? Hit us. BS.
Darn
Let's go. That's me. Is
All
it
right.
5? Is it 5?
What do we got?
4.5.
Oh, 4.5. There we go.
All right, we're tied up now.
Hey, that's crazy. Think about a guy in the NFL having 4.5 sacks in a game. You have 4.5 sacks in a season. You're
the defense. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid. All right, I think we got one more. The record for most passing attempts in a season is 479.
Dang.
Ooh. Don't you think it's got to be would it be Jadrian or
No, it wouldn't be a Jadrian.
Would it be Magic Zach Edwards when he was playing for Barcelona?
Probably.
Last year?
Probably.
Could be. I mean, he had insane stats. I'm gonna say true in that it's Zach Edwards with Barcelona. See what you guys are saying. You guys are kind of split here. Now we're getting some truth. See what we got.
I'm gonna go with true as well. Zach Edwards, Barcelona.
Let me see what that is. 479
Final answer.
Divided by 12 games. It's like 40 attempts a game. What do we got? Oh, false.
What is it?
What do we got?
498.
Oh, Luke. Damn, I should have.
That was this year.
That.
Dang.
Yeah, because their offense was just purely just air raid with Luke.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty surprised about his move to Frankfurt, man. That's gonna be so weird seeing him in the Frankfurt uniform.
Yeah, it is. Because I played against him when I was at Frankfurt and he was with Milan in Frankfurt.
Oh yeah.
It was so long ago, and that fool's still playing. Crazy.
Yeah, he's still playing.
Good section, but all right, now let's move on. We got a little hot topic going on, discussion. Let's talk about the best signing of the off season so far. Yeah. We're talking about transfer, right? So not a new signing, but someone who's played on one team transferring to another.
Exactly. Chat, feel free to jump in here. Give us your opinion on what's the best transfer. Silas, do you have any initial thoughts on what do you think is the biggest one?
I was going to let you go first.
Oh, no, I was going to let you go first. You know?
I'm going to say I have 3 right now. We'll narrow it down.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm going to start with Mace to the Musketeers.
Okay.
My second is going to be Markel to Frankfurt.
Mm.
And my third is going to be I'm gonna stop with 2. Well, Luke to Frankfurt.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. I mean, no, I'm kind of with you on those. I think Obviously, quarterback is super, super big, super important. And so, like, obviously, the Luke signing is big, both for Frankfurt, but also for Milan, like losing that stability there. Obviously, Markel Castle being in Frankfurt and having Luke Zaraka as his quarterback. It's interesting. But I'm going to say I am probably the most excited about Devin Burrell going to the Panthers. He just absolutely insane athlete, insane return specialist. I think he had like 5 or 6 return touchdowns, and he was playing on bad teams. He played for Leipzig and he played for Milan. No offense to these teams, but they're not
That's
they're
true.
not having the best organization.
Offense
right?
to these teams.
Offense from silence. To me, this is like when Christian McCaffrey went from the Panthers to the 49ers. I think he's going to be utilized way better in many different situations. They've got a really smart coaching staff. They've got a lot of good pieces around him. And I think that the dude is just going to be deadly for the Panthers. So that's kind of like my out of left field one that's not a quarterback. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great one. I think I didn't really think about that too much, but I think you're right. I think he's going to have some crazy statistics this year.
Yeah.
I think Mace moving to Paris is going to be so big because he speaks French and he is an incredible defensive player. So, like, yeah, he's the defensive player of the year and he's going to Paris, which is huge. But the bigger thing is that he's going to be able to lead that defense way better than any American would because he can talk to him in French. And from when I played against Paris, like it didn't seem like English was as fluent as maybe in Germany or in Switzerland. And so having him on the field and in the backfield for Paris, I think is going to be a game changer. I think he's going to have the biggest impact.
That's a really good point. That like the communication aspect, and he's a safety, and to be able to like communicate like that. Also in the chat, somebody said Alejandro Fernandez to the Bravos because he counts as a homegrown. So like when you have one of the most premier players at a position in the league, not counting against an E or an A spot, that's also something to take into account. So I really like that. And that's similar from Mahongu to Paris, which somebody just said in the chat as well. So
yeah, well, I mean, Mace is homegrown.
Oh yeah, damn! That just flew right over my head.
Right.
So that's
so it's
also
like he's
whole nother.
Yeah. Imagine Mace, and then 2 Americans. Like imagine another American safety on the other side, and then an American like D tack.
Man,
that's nasty.
The talented homegrowns are more valuable than the A's in this league because there's
100%.
such a huge pool of Americans you can get from the United States. There's unlimited great players, but there's a very limited amount of homegrown players, and especially for each team. And so when you're able to sign that, like to convince Mace basically to not go be an E somewhere and probably get paid more because of the salary rules, but to come be a homegrown, yeah, man, that's
huge.
That's a great point. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat here. Do you like any of these? Silas? Castle, obviously. Kendrell Ellison to the Ravens. Yeah, well,
that's a big one. We didn't talk
for
about
that.
Jarvis going to Hamburg is good. It's just I don't have a lot of faith in Hamburg.
I know. Man.
Mahungu to Paris is big too, but that's something we talked about a lot. I think. So yeah, I mean those are all big, but I think that I'm still stuck with Mace being the biggest offseason transfer. As far as impact, I don't know if that's what exactly the question was, but
no, anyway. I mean I think that's a great answer there, and I mean it's obviously impossible to pick just one, but I think we covered a lot. The one that we didn't talk much about actually, and we talked about it in previous shows, is Jacob Sullivan to Berlin. Somebody did write that, but. I don't know. I just don't know what to expect in Berlin. I just really don't know what to expect up there, man. I feel like Frankfurt is overall a more put together organization. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, they've they've proven to have a lot more success than Berlin in the last decade. So I think Jacob is gonna have to prove himself a little bit. I think the injuries have kind of plagued him a little bit. I don't think that he's like gotten worse. I think he's just kind of back to having to prove himself a little bit.
Sure.
And there's a lot of questions there. But I know that he's capable of doing that. So
it's an interesting topic, man. I love talking about these transfers, and that's one of the cool things, man, of like these players bouncing around to different spots in the league, playing against their old teams, and it's good drama. It's very good.
That's something that's super cool about this league is that when you transfer to another team, you transfer to a totally different culture, and that's like the biggest difference. One of the biggest differences between the U.S. and Europe is that when you change teams in the NFL, you go to it's just, I mean, you hop on a plane, it's 3 hours, whatever, but you're still in the same country, and for the most part, everything's the same. You're gonna get the same type of apartment and blah blah blah. But in the ELF, you transfer a different team, and it's like you got different language, you got different culture. It's like a whole different experience that is so fun. So I wish the ELF existed back in like my early days of Europe. Back in our day. I'm glad that I got to experience it for a year. But I don't know, it'd be tough for me. Like I might bounce around to different teams for 5 years in a row just to get to experience different cultures.
Man. That's a great point. It's like it really is a big jump when you switch, especially teams in different countries. So interesting. We got a lot of good transfers so far. Now let's slide on in, Silas, to the community corner, of which we have some hot takes that you guys shared on Instagram, Twitter, Discord. And so we've got some hot takes here. Let's talk about them. This first one, Rhein Fire will not make it to the championship game. It will be Ravens versus Panthers. That's from Brian Spanelsko. Silas, what do you think? Chat, what do you think?
I disagree.
Disagree?
Yep, I disagree. I think Rhein Fire is so well organized, structured, and talented and led well, that it's not going to. I don't think this league is balanced enough for them to not just make it there again.
I feel you on that. The only thing I will say is I think Rhein Fire was so much better than most teams last year. I think the gap will be narrowed a little bit coming in. I do think they're still the favorite, but I think the gap will be narrowed a little bit. And some other teams, Paris, for example, Surge, Ravens, Panthers, might kind of be in there and give them a little bit more of a headache.
Yeah. What's the next one? Hot take number 2.
Here we go. Barcelona 0-12. What do you think?
Yeah. No. I think they win one game.
Against who?
I take that back. I think they win. I think they win 2 to 3 games. I think they beat. I think they beat Milan once, and I think they beat Madrid at home.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna, and this is from Mike Mathis 80. Mike, I'm gonna agree with you, man. I think not gonna be great for Barcelona this year. That's a hot take. What do we got for the third?
They have 2 chances to beat Milan. I think they get one.
That's true. Yeah,
hot take number 3.
Numero 3.
Heck no. Heck no.
Enthroners 6-6 or better record.
No, they will not. No.
Steaming hot take.
Absolutely not.
What does the chat think about this? 6-6? Who are they going to beat? Where are they going to get 6 wins? All right, Prague. Maybe one of those. But although I feel like Prague is kind of stabilizing a little bit.
No,
I don't know, man. That one's just, that's wild. I'll give them 2.5. Over under on them win 2.5. Okay. That's
2.5.
If I was a betting man.
Yeah,
So
let's
I'm
move on.
sorry.
That heck no. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. That's not
Sorry.
happening.
Next one.
Centurions will
Centurion.
have a higher average attendance than Surge. I've never been to a Centurion game. Have you?
I have not. Now, the only thing, my first reaction is this is a violent disagreement. However, the Centurions do have a couple games at that big stadium, and depending on like the marketing push and if they're able to really get a lot of fans at those couple of games, overall, the average attendance would possibly be higher. But in terms of the median, no way. Maybe the mean based on just a couple of those games, but I think the surge attendance, I think it's gonna be close to a strong 5,000 per game, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Let's go to the last one. The
Last
last
one
hot
is-
take. We will have more non-German, non-Austrian teams in the playoffs in 2024, with the Wild West and the Rollclaw doing a level up once more. Maybe some upsets. This should be doable. Power to the E, the Lions, and my favorite Almdudlers in Switzerland. Let's go. First off, what the heck is an Almdudler?
You should know that's Switzerland, bro. That's you.
I like that hot take though. I think everyone in Europe for a long time has wanted wanted life to have less Germans just taking over.
Yeah, sounds
with football. I'm talking about football.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, talking about football. Okay, there you go.
Because the Germans have just dominated. It's just dominated, and I would love to see a French Paris Rollclaw. I would love to see at least 4 countries in the playoffs. 4 different countries in the playoffs. That would be awesome.
I think it's possible, man. I think it's possible, especially Paris looks good. Panthers look good. Madrid, I don't know what, but they're signing people. But anyway, guys, moving on to the final part of the show today, we have got an interview with the one and only MVP of the ELF, the reigning champion, the man who had probably the best ELF season ever so far, Jadrian Dart Clark.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome to the show, Jadrian Clark. Man, this is a squad right here.
Wow.
Do you know that we could have potentially all been on the Unicorns at one point together?
That would have been crazy.
Insane.
Oh, man.
You with me and Jadrian, a couple Europeans over here. Jadrian, where you at right now? You're in Colorado somewhere?
I was just in Colorado skiing. I don't know if Tom Sewell likes that. Let's keep that a secret. But no, I'm back with my family right now. I'm in Nashville. The coaches convention is coming up, and I'm out here with my uncle and going to go to the coaches convention in a couple of days.
Awesome, man. And first question I got: how was the situation in England? Obviously, after you won the championship and won everything in the ELF, you went over and did a little stint in the UK. How was that experience?
Man, it's been awesome. It's always been a lifelong dream of mine to get my MBA. I got the opportunity to go out there on a scholarship to get my MBA, and they even threw a few beans and toast in there for me as well. So eating the British food, which isn't the best, but exploring the culture and get my MBA. That's the good part.
Man, Jadrian, you're like the poster boy for taking advantage of the opportunities of football in Europe. For the people, I guess now this is a question that would be pointed at American football players who haven't had a shot at the NFL and are considering going to Europe. Share a little bit about how going to Europe has changed your life.
How much time you got? Europe is a special place. It's my buddy Javi used to say it's the old world. We come from the new world in America where everything is modern and different, and we come up with this ignorant mindset, not because we actually are ignorant, but just because we're so isolated from the rest of the world that's all that we know. And then when you come over to Europe for the first time, you realize it's not so black and white. There's a lot of other ways to do things. The culture aspects, both music, plays, opera, art. It's just like all these things that in America we don't really appreciate, that Europeans enjoy the finer things in life. So I grew up only really caring about football, and then coming over here and seeing all these other magnificent things, and the architecture, and seeing things that were built long before America was even a country. It's cool. It just makes you really interested in history and culture, and really gives you a whole new outlook on life.
Man, I mean, I would say, like, just from the people that I can think of right now in terms of American imports, you're at the top of, in terms of what you've been able to achieve on the field and off the field, just with all the experiences that you've had. Obviously, this past season was incredibly successful for you, and you are returning to the Rhine Fire. Kind of what left is there for you to do? I mean, you won the championship in a dominant fashion. You won MVP. You had every record imaginable. What left is there for you to do in Europe?
I mean, it's harder to stay at the top than it is to get to the top. Everybody's gunning for us now. Personally, statistically, I don't feel like I'll probably ever have a season like I did last year again. Coming back this year, I'm just looking to try and continue to win every single game, go out and be a team player, distribute the ball to all our playmakers. So personally, I don't feel like there is a whole lot, like, statistically, that I'm setting out to do anymore. But I just want to keep winning. We've got such a cool thing going. We got such an awesome group of guys, the coaching staff, the people that volunteer and come and make everything possible for us. It's unbelievable. I wish you guys could come and see everything that makes Dusseldorf and Rhine Fire so special. We just have, it's really, truly a professional environment, but it still feels like a family, which is really hard to accomplish both of those at the same time.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to have to come out there and really get an experience, a real day in the life with you. I'd love to see how that's growing. And I know from our conversation back after our game last year, I walked away just being blown away at what the potential for football in Europe was like from that conversation.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, obviously, that was a tough one for you guys. You were playing quarterback. Swiss Army knife does it all. But it was still a cool experience to, play against you, and to play a new country. I'd never played against Switzerland, went to Switzerland, played you guys there. That was cool. It just continually grows, and to see the game truly becoming fully European is awesome. It's cool for me also to see certain of my teammates really come into their own. Guys like Harlan Quofi that were last year kind of slept on, that now everyone kind of sees as one of the top homegrown players in the whole league. Obviously, my offensive line did an awesome job. So just for me, what the coolest part about this league is that it's really given Europeans a chance to showcase their ability. The leagues before this were really much more about Americans. And as I'm gotten older and really started to see, wow, these athletes over here are really, really talented. They just need opportunity and they need coaching. And that's sort of what the ELF is giving them, that platform to showcase that Europeans can play football too at a really high level.
Man, I mean, I just, I love it. And you touched on a little bit also of, it feels like you guys at the Rhine Fire have the highest level of professionalism that you can have in European football, and are really kind of the standard, but also keep a little bit of that European football magic that kind of like we've had with some of these teams. It seems like you guys sort of have that. I think perhaps a reason of that is Coach Tom Sula and his like culture setting, just from when Silas and I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and when we talked before the championship game. Could you talk a little bit about Coach Tom Sula and playing for him, and what it's like to kind of be in that organization with him?
Well, I think the first thing that separates Tom Sula from any other coach I've ever had before is that he's doing this truly just for the love of the game. He's obviously been financially successful being a former NFL head coach and coaching the NFL for a long time. So him coming over the ELF isn't because he has to, it's because he wants to. And when you have somebody that's really, truly there just to promote the game and to coach you guys up and make you better men on and off the field, you can feel that. So it's not only just him. We also have Coach Weidinger. We also have Coach Kent, who have been successful in the NFL and CFL and stints all over the world. So we've really done a good job of putting together a staff of guys that are just all in on making something special. They're not into it for personal gain, whether that be financial or career-wise. So it starts there. So that's a very unselfish attitude. And last year's team, and I hope this year's team, will continue down the path of being a very unselfish group of guys. Everyone committed to their role of just being that 111th on the field, or even if you're just a scout team guy, doing your job that way. And we had such a special group that way, where we had many guys that have been, Anthony Mahungu was the top receiver in the GFL back in the day. He won the championship. He comes in and just decides to be one of many playmakers on the offense. Glenn Tunga, who was the leading rusher at Hamburg Sea Devils and led them almost to a championship, comes in and he's, just another clog in the machine. So we were able to assemble this group of guys that were very unselfish, and that all started with the coaching staff. So our culture is one built on team first, but also still professional. And like I said, that's such a unique fine line to balance. So that's really cool to see.
Jadrian, you're 29, right?
Yeah.
29. All right. So you're about to, when did you turn 30? Or
April
when did-
22nd, right before the season. So I'm
April,
done with my
because
20s playing football.
So you've already signed, so you're playing your first season in your 30s. How
Mhm.
many more seasons you got in you?
Oh man, 10 more. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just taking it 1 year at a time. Obviously, we had discussed like a multi-year deal, but I think that would not be wise right now. I just want to continue taking it a day at a time, a week at a time, an off season at a time, a year at a time. Our big motto with the team last year was focus and finish, and I truly do. Always kind of understood the mindset of being present and not thinking about the past or the future too much. But last year really made me realize how important that is, because as soon as you start overlooking what's right in front of you, you're going to end up a little bit anxious, or you're going to end up a little bit too high, maybe a little arrogant. So if for me, I'm just focusing on the off season right now, trying to prepare myself to have a really good 2024 season, come back. I know the target is on our back. Everybody's going to be gunning for us. I've seen some teams of bulked up. Paris is going to be strong this year, added Madrid to our conference. So it's going to be a challenging season. For me to look past that and already start thinking about how many more years I'm going to play would be too premature. I'm just focused on 2024.
Yeah. And Matt, you just touched on it. And last question here from me. You just touched on a little bit on kind of some of the other teams in the league, across the league. Are there any teams that you've kind of been impressed with their off-season moves? And obviously you have so much experience with football in Europe, and you know what kind of works and what are good moves. Anybody you've been impressed with, like they're stepping in the right direction, this is going to be a successful organization?
It'd be too tough to point out just one, but I think the biggest influx that I've seen difference over here is the coaching. For the game to continue to go to the next level, we got to keep bringing in high-level coaching with top experience and know-how. And then from there, we've got to keep finding a way to promote and bring the European level of play to a higher level. I think eventually we've got to turn all the Europeans into full professionals. That's the next big step to take this game to a whole different level, to allow them to have time to just focus on training and nutrition and physio, because both of you guys as former players, it's kind of weird to call you former players, but
Yeah.
you know how much time it takes to be play at a high level. It's not a just show up twice a week, practice and play. It's a 24/7 thing where you got to constantly be doing something, take care of your body, be watching film. It's a lot.
Yeah, man,
Absolutely.
Jadrian, I love getting to talk to you. I'm so excited for your future and what you're doing. I really believe that you are going to really change the game in Europe, and I'm thankful to know you. I'm thankful to be a part of the journey with you. Thanks for coming.
Oh man, you're too kind to me, Silas. Next time I throw an interception, you got to keep that same energy. No, I really appreciate you guys too. Both of you guys have absolutely changed the game in Europe as well. And now I think to take it to the next level, doing all these ELF live shows, and I'm excited for what else you guys have in store for this next season. We got to take the media to the next level too.
Hell yeah. Awesome, Jadrian. Appreciate it, man. Can't wait to see you in 2024. I'll see you on Quiver. And all right.
Here we go.
All right. Later, brother.
Take care.
There we go. Hey, man, Jadrian is just absolutely killing it. He's just the top of the level. Obviously, he's such a great player, but a really good face of the franchise and somebody who gets European football.
Yeah. Yes, and he's perfect for it because, again, we talked about that passport. He has that Irish passport, and he can stay year round and be with those guys. So that's huge. But he hit it on the head. Coaches, getting really good coaches is going to really change the game, because everything always starts with the leader. The top of the chain is what really sets the culture of everything. And you see it with Jordan Newman. You see it with Tomasula. These are the guys that have the most influence over players, and because the purity of players is so strong in Europe, they just need really good leadership, and that's what I like to see.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's exactly what it is, and I love it. Well, hey, man, that's another big long show for us. Another week of ELF football. Some great guests, some great conversations. Silas, man, I love doing these shows with you. It's really a fun thing, dude.
Yeah, it is, and I'm hoping that we're doing our part to help grow this game.
Trying our best, and we got to give a shout out as well to Euronics, the sponsor of ELF Live, who's putting it on. So thank you to Euronics for putting on this show, and thank you to all of you guys in the chat, all you guys who watch it, whether you watch it live or you watch the rerun, participate, and thanks for being fans of European football. We need to keep growing this community. It's so special, and we're just at the start of it, and you guys are all a part of that. So thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.